Hey Linnea, this is Mrs. Skoglund. Just wanted to give you a little bit of feedback on your summer assignment. So we're mostly going to be talking through this chapter 6 question since that was the one that you starred, but I'll kind of reference some other parts of your project as we're going through the video as well. All right, so starting off, when I look at body paragraphs, which is what these L-directed paragraphs are, I look for a strong topic sentence to start, and that's going to ideally be a sentence that really answers this question concisely and sort of previews what's coming in the paragraph. I thought in a lot of your paragraphs, Linnea, you did a really nice job with that. Like, you don't just sort of talk about the things in the question. I really appreciated that you actually answered it. So here you said what a hyphenated life was and sort of why that's important. The only thing I have to, nitpick here, and it is nitpicky, is just that this one in particular was a little wordy, could probably just be a little bit more concise, but I did think you got the gist of what it was for sure. Next, I actually look at the end of your paragraph because this concluding sentence should kind of tie back to the question so that we're sort of wrapping everything up for the reader. I thought you did a really nice job with your concluding sentences, and I liked especially that you sort of tried to put some significance in there. Like you said, the people who are leading hyphenated ones change the world for the better. And so I think that gave some importance to the topic, and you weren't just literally repeating what you already said. So good work there. Next, I looked at evidence, and I really liked your evidence selection, Linnea. So, for example, I like how you have one example talking about Andy Tuck, and then another talking about exactly what these people who are leading hyphenated lives do. I thought that allowed you to kind of develop the paragraph differently because you could talk about Tuck up here and then the relationship piece down here. So that was really good. You're also doing a great job with your embedding or integrating evidence. So if I read this out loud, it's an example of a person with a hyphenated life is Andy Tuck, a philosophy professor, blah, blah, blah. Even with the quotes there, that reads really smoothly, which is exactly what we want. So keep that up. Next, I look at commentary, and I have to commend you on this because you are not just summarizing the quotes, and actually you're taking it even a step further. Like down here, you gave an example of what your quote was talking about with Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I thought that was really awesome, and that makes the paragraph so much better in terms of analysis because rather than just rephrasing this quote, you're tying the quote back to the question but providing additional context. So really good job there, and it was great to read. The last thing I looked at were conventions and citations, so two things. And let me go up a little bit. I think on conventions, I've got just a few things to kind of point out. So I noticed the use of you. I didn't notice that a ton, but just be really careful, especially of that personal pronoun. It's just a little bit too informal. So I would say just even rephrasing to have to be well-rounded and not have only one thing that defines a person or defines them. That you just really is so informal that getting rid of it will really elevate your word choice. Also, I just noticed a random capitalization here. So just kind of proofread and make sure those things are cleaned up a little bit. But citations looked great. And I thought you did a really nice job with your R-directed activities as well. I wanted to comment on this one specifically just because I love Les Mis, and so I was drawn to that one. But I think you're totally right when you reflected here on this is a perfect example of how, this event in history really was kind of overlooked. And the fact that Victor Hugo and then, obviously the musical makers made it into this award-winning musical has sort of let it stick with us. So that was a really good example. Anyway, just wanted to give you a little feedback.